the thing about stands that I really like
I'm gonna mute
is
you
that
guys while I'm doing this. Just doing some work for the stream very quickly, because... Fuck. There we go. That was fine. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad they actually explained that in show. I forgot that they did that. Because, like... Yeah, I completely forgot that they... I completely forgot they actually explained that. And that it's not just that they, you know... Okay. I'm gonna try to fix you up just a little bit, Rogue, because you're... Nope, you're good. Okay. Unfortunately, you're still a bit in the corner until I can find a better way to do this. But one day I'm going to probably fix that. But... eyes are starting to feel a lot better. Okay. Now you guys are unmuted, because we're gonna get started here. Once I get the music in here.
guys, I am a haichu fiend. I eat so much haichu
So
sometimes.
I was gonna give the opportunity for, oh, shit. I had my stream, I had stream open as well, so I just heard double of me.
Because you want it to be stopped?
I was gonna give the opportunity, like I said last time, for the roleplay that was gonna happen, because I was wanting to give James any opportunities to, you know, ask Soul any questions he wanted to as Carolina.
Nothing, Anthony? Okay.
Well, I am talking right now.
Why are you talking over Jake? Ben?
He's muted on my screen.
Oh.
Did you mute me?
Yep.
Did you mute him?
Can you all hear me aside from Ben?
I can hear you. Yeah,
I can hear you.
Try now, Jake.
I'm talking.
Hey, now I hear you. Sorry.
It almost seemed like you were just being so fucking rude.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was wild that you'd mute the DM just so you could try to talk to Anthony like that. I mean, come on, man. No, I'm kidding.
Good luck, guys.
I'm kidding.
Bye, Andrew.
Why is everything fucked? Ah, whatever. Who cares? I don't. We in the brig. I don't mind. Just gotta do some quick adjustments. That was pretty funny, though.
That was really funny.
Yeah, I couldn't hear a word he was saying. I was like, why is he talking while Jake's talking?
Very sorry, Jake. I didn't.
I know,
honestly thought you were muted on your
you
end.
know, it's not something you usually do. So I didn't assume you were just talking while I was speaking. I was confused about it more than anything. Alright. We've taken longer than I would like to get started, because I had to adjust so many things. And next week it's going to be the same. Hopefully maybe we can get everyone in here a bit earlier next week, so that can be more settled, that can be worked out a bit quicker. If that's possible. But, nonetheless, let me get the music playing. Give me a beat, boys.
No?
I'd rather just free his soul.
No, that's what I was going for. Thank you, Anthony. Okay. Alright. So, last time in Renewal of Shadow, during the travelings of this small group, you all picked up immediately rushing into battle to attempt to save Kiffin, who was battling against what you assumed to be Denru, a former member of the Brighthammer clan, now a subservient follower of Baphomet. As he was battling against Kiffin and beating against him rather easily, you saw Kiffin was badly hurt, while Denru barely had a scratch on him. Rushing into battle, you all did your best you can and were able to save Kiffin, despite it being a deadly fight, with Denru being able to knock most of you unconscious with nearly 2 or 1 hits. Astrid and Silas got the brunt and the worst of it in this fight, but nonetheless you were able to destroy Denru. Before he died, he began to get covered over in this thick layer of obsidian, and then exploded out, saying before he died that he needed more time, as he was slain. Taking a brief respite for a moment before speaking, you all decided it was best to leave. There was some, what most would consider ill-timed questioning of Kiffin about the the black sun icon that you all found in the beginning of the temple. He was clearly not particularly happy about the questioning, and as well, he admitted to not knowing anything about it. Whether that was true, I don't believe anyone insight checked him, but he claimed it and then desperately wanted to leave and stuck with that story as well anyway, so he was consistent. As you all went to exit, Isaac, Josie, and Silas stayed back and went to go retrieve the item, as Silas, after they were able to get it out of the tomb and lead box, allowed it to be put in his bag of holding. Or is it a bag of colding? I think it might be a bag of colding. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. Doesn't matter. It was put in a bag, and then Silas hung back for a moment as Isaac and Josie went to leave, and went and put it right back inside the lead box. As on the way back toward the town, Silas then explained this to Isaac, causing some small bit of conflict, and certainly annoying Isaac, it seemed. At the camp, Kiffin was taken for treatment at Nozan's carriage, and the rest of you went to go rest a bit, as you did not finish your long rest, so that you could start leaving as soon as possible with the caravan. Silas, after his rest concluded, went over to speak with Nozan, who he saw sat outside the carriage, at least who he assumed was Nozan. After a series of questions involving both the item and some other things, Silas was able to sense strange magic, and he questioned why Nozan cast something, to which Nozan simply said that he did not. And then Silas, almost beguiled by this Nozan, believed him wholeheartedly for a moment, and Nozan went off to go enforce the... Well, he went to go check on what happened to the barrier around the temple. Silas, concerned, offered to go with him, but Nozan simply said no, that it was fine and to not do so. Silas, now concerned about him, though, followed after, but as he went to approach, was commanded by a deep voice in his mind to return back into the camp and read for the next, I think it was 4 hours or 3 hours? Can't remember off the top of my head.
There's 2.
It was 2? Okay.
Yep.
Go back and read for the next 2 hours. And he did so. After the conclusion of those 2 hours, there was a gap in Silas's memory, which concerned him greatly, as in a panic he went and found Josie, and then eventually found his way to see Nozan about the issue, after everyone had awakened and you had all set out on your journey. Before leaving, no, that's it. No, nothing else happened before you left. You just went to go see Nozan. As Silas and Josie visited Nozan and discussed what had happened, and Nozan made it clear that it was impossible for the two of them to have talked, as he has been tending to Kiffin for the entirety of the night. Panicked by this and somewhat paranoid of the intentions of Nozan at the time, the two of you attempted to get out quickly, but Nozan was persistent in his questioning and said that someone may have been impersonating him with magic. After which you explained exactly what had happened, and concerned, he went to go find the elder, whose name I'm losing off the top of my head, but that's fine. He went to go find him, and the two of you returned to the carriage to discuss what had just happened. But after explaining that, and after being concerned about it, you continued your travel, and were eventually informed by the elder and Nozan during the travel that they believe someone was impersonating they know someone was impersonating Nozan, and they are going to get to the bottom of it, as they are concerned about it. Eventually, after a day's worth of travel, you arrived the middle of the night, just outside of the town of Oakmil, at the crossing way where you would part ways with the Bright Hammer caravan. You were given thanks by the leaders of the caravan, between Kiffin and the Elder, who sincerely apologized for his ill feelings toward Josie and Isaac because of the lines of questioning. He said that he still believes that the question was ill-timed and inappropriate, but you two are part of the reason why he's alive, so he should show a bit more gratitude, was what he admittedly said, and it seemed sincere. And apologies were exchanged with Isaac and him, but I'll just say with both groups. Nonetheless, afterward, you parted ways, with Nozan promising that he would get to the bottom of whoever used magic on you, Silas, to trick you and to make you forget about what had happened as well. And as well, he promised that should he find anything out, he would send you a message using magic. And then you all went into the town of Oakmil, where upon entering, a guard gave you direction toward a stable and a depot so that you could store your carriage as well. And upon arriving there, you paid for the services and were given the stable and the depot, with directions to the Weeping Lady, a inn inside the town. As you started walking that way, as you made your way toward that direction, a cold rain was pouring down upon all of you, as Beryl was able to spot what looked like a little girl with long black hair drenched in water, standing beneath one of the tall lampposts that is lit by the Serovian technology that you all know of. As Beryl, concerned about the girl, approached her and asked her if she needed help, but did not get any answer, and before she could do anything else, she heard what sounded like a groan from above her as the light began to flicker. Looking up, the light flickered out, leaving her in darkness for a moment, and then flickered on as she looked down below, and there was no little girl before her. Catching up with the group, you then arrived at the tavern, at the inn, where you met a new companion, possibly a new traveling companion. Soul, I believe you described ears, correct?
Described her as Elven.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to make sure I was about to say something that you didn't give. That's why. A elven woman, with darker skin than you're used to in the area, certainly, who was looking for traveling companions and happened to be heading to the same place that you all were going to, Wolford, as there was some vetting that took place and some drink and other things for the night before you all decided to pack it in for the night that night. I have one question, Anthony, because I know you were engaging with conversation and small talk with Soul. Is there anything that you need to have role-played that you would have been asking her that you thought of in the gap between sessions?
I really wanted James to be here because I could have played off of him.
I also wanted James to be here, but he's a sick boy.
He's a sick boy.
Unfortunately.
I don't think anything that's super important that I can't do down the line.
Sure. Soul, would you ask Isaac anything in the conversation you two were having? As it is a two-way street, if you have anything pertinent that you believe needed to be role-played or asked.
No, not at this moment.
Okay. So then, as assumed with last session, everybody gets to their beds for the night and goes to sleep. What happened with Beryl was recounted last session. I can certainly recount it again. But before that, I need everyone in the party to give me a sanity saving throw.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the insanity town.
Yeah!
You fucking...
Don't tell me the entire party's gonna suffer.
Ooh! Ooh!
Don't tell me it's gonna be the entire party.
Oh, shit, yes.
Or are we gonna have a
please.
joint dream?
Oh.
It's not a dream that's gonna
I'm
be
good.
happening. There's no dream for the night, unfortunately. But... Let us see. Pulling up my note very quickly. Alright, this wasn't even that high of a DC. Josie just fucking nailed it there. So, that is a fail from everyone but Josie. As you all attempt to rest for the night. Oh, holy fuck, that was loud. Jesus Christ. That scared the fuck out of me. I'm gonna mute this. No,
No. She's safe because she's...
We'll see. I'll see next session. We'll see next session if that's necessary. Is all I'll say. Because it depends. I don't know if you guys will get a rest in or not, and I don't feel like rolling unnecessary things. Nonetheless, as all of you attempt to rest, but Josie, you're able to blissfully find your rest, unaware of your surroundings, for the most part, not hypersensitive to it. The rest of you, however, you have trouble sleeping and meditating as the inn creaks in ways that sounds like things are moving through the corridors and doors opening. and things knocking upon your window and knocking upon your door. But as well, out of the corner of your eyes while lying down or in your meditative stance, you see what look like a shadowed figure darting around out of sight almost every time you go to look that direction. Every time you go to look, there's nothing there. Perhaps you see a coat hanger or a wardrobe that just happened to look like a person. And it continues throughout the night, giving you all not as restful of a slumber as you would like, as all of you, as you awake the next day and get ready, are shaken. You have a -2 to saving throws made against the dread, to the dread effect and the frightened condition, until you finish a short or long rest. If you wish to remove this during a short rest, you need to spend the entirety of it in a slumber, sleeping for the hour, in a nap. Completely unaware.
To just saving throws?
Just saving throws against frightened and dread.
Okay. That's frightened and dread.
But aside from that, do I need to recount what had happened to Beryl that night before, or do we all remember the young...
I mean, I remember vividly.
Okay. Then I will simply say, as per...
I don't want you to hurt your throat again.
And I will say, as per the recap for that alone, the night before, Beryl attempting to sleep. Beryl, you can actually roll a sanity save as well. I think you did you?
I did.
Okay, yeah, because you're going to be shaken too. But this isn't because this would have been at disadvantage your roll actually. So
Well,
I'm realizing this now because you actually
doesn't
saw something.
matter.
It doesn't matter. So you're going to be shaken, but it doesn't change,
Yeah.
As Beryl in the night saw what looked like that same little girl standing at the foot of her bed, drenched in water, it dripping off of her onto the ground, as she let out low groans that sounded like a throat pushing up against its lungs completely filled with water, its throat filled with water, attempting to say something. As even Beryl could see what looked like faint water dripping down from her mouth onto the ground, Beryl was able to just barely make out that the ghostly little girl was attempting to say, "Help me." But we do not pick up with Beryl. We will in fact pick up with one of our 4-hour resters, Josie, who gets a good rest for the night, who in fact feels, you feel refreshed and rather well rested. Actually, the two of you are in the same room, Josie and Silas, correct? So Silas, I offer you this as well. With you getting the condition as you are, if you just continue for another 4 hours resting, you will not be shaken anymore. Same will go for any other meditator that is shaken. Or you can wait for later down the line to try and, rid yourself of it through something. Because Silas, as you awaken, you do not feel as rested as you normally would through the meditation, and you feel somewhat shaken. It's a bit creepy here, and you're not one to easily scare or anything like that.
Sister?
Yep.
A request? Oh, yes, first question. How did your meditation go?
It's fine.
No disturbances? Nothing looming?
No, but to be fair, I was, pretty exhausted from the day, so...
Would you feel comfortable maybe staying in the room for another 4 hours? I swear I was seeing and hearing things. I think things have just gotten to me, perhaps.
Of course. I'll keep an eye out, make sure there's nothing actually weird going on.
Silas actually take one of her hands and his just kind of hold it next to his lap as he tries to go meditate again.
Okay. Okay. So are you gonna spend the entirety of the time there as well, Josie?
Yeah.
Okay. Astrid, are you sleeping or are you doing your meditation?
Astrid's sleeping.
Okay, so you're sleeping, so it's not gonna change for you because you were sleeping. Okay. Soul, you are a 4-hour meditator, correct?
Correct.
I offer the same to you. If you take just another 4 hours and meditate, it will go away. Or you can do whatever you need to do in the morning. And Soul, actually, yeah, you know this town's creepy. You've been here a bit longer than them, and you had actually seen what you thought was a little girl as well, sitting outside in the rain, just at the front of the inn, and when you went to talk to her, you know, it just went dark around the area, the lights flickered out, and then she was gone. So you know this place is kind of creepy. You've been experiencing it a bit already.
I guess she would light an incense,
Mhm.
and then she would go to meditate again and just look around and say, "Ashes thou art, Lato." That's it.
Okay. Okay. And you're gonna take the other the other 4 hours to get rid of the shaken, or just do that?
Yep.
Okay. So then everyone is going to be an 8-hour rester today, as it'll come to the full 8 hours. Beryl, would you be sounding your horn?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Does the horn... You can assign people to be your allies, correct, through the horn?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just check it very quickly. Up to 6 creatures as your ally, once per day. Okay. Are you going to be designating Soul as an ally?
Let me roll something.
Okay. It's fair, you did just meet her.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So, all of you will gain the benefits of the Watcher's Horn as you awaken, and that makes you all feel a bit better as your rests finish. To remind what the Watcher's Horn does, you all are awoken by it and cannot be surprised for 1 hour. But since we already did your bit with the Watcher's Horn, we'll go to you first, Beryl. What do you wish to do in the morning?
I would probably first make my way to the tavern room. Look out the window, see what the weather was like.
Okay, so you're gonna make your way down to the tavern room.
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay, I'm gonna remember that because everyone's up at the same time, so I want to see if anyone's going down at the same time, so that...
Yeah.
See if you're running into anybody. Let's go alphabetically backwards. Astrid, what will you be doing once you finish your rest, feeling a bit shaken?
I think she would take a little extra time in the room, and she'd probably play her music box for a bit.
Okay. How much extra time?
Maybe like 10 extra minutes.
Okay.
Just to compose herself.
I am finding something for you.
Over 20.
Because, as you can tell, this town is a bit creepy. So, let's see if this is proper. There we go, that's good. Okay, so you're gonna spend how long did you say in your room?
Like 10 minutes.
Like 10 minutes?
Yeah. I'm scared now.
I mean, okay. As you'll spend
Yeah,
an
she's
extra
gonna
10 minutes in your room and then you're gonna head down?
yeah, she's gonna play her music box for like 10 minutes and then go down.
Okay, so you're 10 minutes then down. Okay, Isaac? It's actually not the worst you've felt waking up before, but
Yeah. So
Again,
that's
you're-
actually what I was going to say.
you don't scare as easily now though because of everything you've been through, but still here it just doesn't feel great here. It feels weird. It's creepy.
Yeah, he's gonna get up, and you basically said what I was gonna say, and kind of just put his clothes on and be like, "Well, at least it wasn't purple this time," and
Okay.
just you know, kind of compose himself and head downstairs.
Okay, so you're gonna run into Barrel. We'll see if anyone else will run into each other. Wait. Okay, no, I'm not stupid. Alright, sorry about that. My brain. Josie and Silas. You two heading down, or what are you doing after the rest finishes? You do not feel shaken anymore, Silas.
Silas would
assuming
think.
Silas, assuming he feels better, should we just go downstairs?
Okay. So
Let's go with her.
Okay. So 4 people are gonna run into each other in the hallway. Soul.
Boom, boom, boom.
She would get up and stretch first and then walk out.
Okay. So 5 people are gonna run into each other in the hallway as Beryl, Isaac, Josie, Silas, and Soul, the 5 of you, run into each other as you're exiting your rooms as you go to head downstairs.
Any one of you get a visit from Nenyita, little girl?
Is that like
You know her name?
No,
What?
Common is not my first language.
Oh. What? You...
Nenyita, little girl.
Oh, all right. Yes. She's. I saw her outside before we came into the tavern last night.
What did she say to you?
Gurgle, 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 gurgle. She didn't say anything. She just, well, was mostly just like water flowing and choking. It was really quite disturbing, actually. I'm a little bit spooked.
so? You're telling me that a girl came up to you and just kind of choked in front of you, and you didn't do anything about it?
No, it was, well, y'all were there. It was raining, and I don't know. She disappeared.
Beryl, none of us saw a little girl. And if she was choking in front of you, like, you know how you're supposed to get behind them and just kind of like do the thing on the chest?
I have absolutely no clue what you're talking about.
Well,
I saw her last night too. I mean, in my room.
did you lock your door?
Didn't know that was a thing.
Okay, so
Door
we have
didn't
one
open,
to
though,
two.
Beryl. You know that.
I know that the door didn't open. She was just there in my room.
Well, you have one of two options. Either one, we have a very sneaky little girl who is perpetually choking, which is concerning. Or two, we have a ghost on our hands.
And
Right.
Would
Well,
that be
well, for the knowledge part of this, because the ghost has actually just came up. Isaac, you're just gonna know this. Silas, you're gonna know this as well because you've been reading. You're gonna know a bit more, so I'm gonna get to you after. And Josie, I mean, I don't know if you'll know specifically this part, but I mean, Beryl, you can also roll a history as well, but Isaac, you can roll a history on the topic of ghost. Soul, you can as well. Probably, yeah. Or religion
Isaac
for
has
you,
read a
Soul.
lot of ghost stories.
Or religion for you, Soul. Would that be any different for you if it was religion, Soul, as... Or is that the same?
History's higher.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh no, religion's plus one more.
Okay,
Right.
so it'd be an 8. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay. Beryl, you don't know particularly that much, but from what your Fae have told you, you've heard the term ghost before, but they told you ghosts aren't real. That they're like spirits, like Fae creature, like Fae spirits and such. But
Fey spirits.
but there's no such thing as ghosts, from what you
Right.
know. Isaac, you know that it's a pretty contentious topic on whether ghosts are a thing. Like, you know that there are undead that are, spectral, but the idea of, like, a soul manifesting and being, present on the plane, that's, like, highly contended in scholars and studies, and most people say that that's just fantasy. That ghosts aren't real and such and such. Silas! Okay.
Isaac has read a lot of ghost stories, and much like his David Duchovny inspiration, he wants to believe.
Oh, sure. No, that's fine. You can believe, but that it's a contentious topic. Silas,
Okay.
from your book, you've gotten to the chapter that you are on. Let me open my note for this book. Apparitions, the difference between specters and ghosts, and you have in fact read, as per the writings of Rudolf van Richten, that there are such thing as ghosts, but spectral and apparition-like undead are not the same types of things. As a ghost is the manifestation of someone's soul that is trapped on the plane still, due to resentment, guilt, or some sort of desire. Whereas a specter is just energy of the soul channeled into the creation of an undead, or randomly created because of the strong force of will. And you know that ghosts can be created through a lot of different sorts of mishaps, but that they are in fact real according to Mr. Van Richten, and that they are pitiful and sad creatures. And very rare. Like, exceedingly rare. Sorry, go on then. That was the info dump. Estrid as well, I'm sure you'd probably be hearing all of this in the hallway if you wanted to just go out early. But that'd be up to you. No? Okay. So go on. Apologies.
No, I appreciate the lore dump. So yes, I believe it's probably a ghost. I mean, Carolina did tell us that story about the orphanage. What did? Okay, I forget, and I didn't write it in my notes because I'm dumb. But did the orphanage burn down, or were they just all killed
They were all
or
killed.
drowned? They were just all killed. We don't know how or why.
Nope.
No. Okay. Carolina did tell us that story about all those orphans being killed, and I mean, if there's any cause for ghosts, it's probably kids dying.
Well,
is that your educated point of view or your personal biases, Isaac?
Admittedly, I've read a lot of stories.
Right, well, that's all they are, though. They're just stories. It's
Sadly, they're
aren't
not just
real.
stories, Pharaoh.
What,
They
what
are
do you mean?
real. They're rare, but they're real. And they're created by
Come on.
horrible things happening.
Like, but like
Like-
when you say they're real, though, like like real stories.
No, like real ghosts. Like the
real scary
actual
stories
ghost
to tell in the
itself is
dark.
real, not stories, reality.
That's, I mean, that's just not true. It's
Based on your expertise here on the prime material,
well, I know a bit about like spirits, but they're not ghosts.
I'm not talking about spirits either. Spirits, specters, ghosts differ. But ghosts are real. You might not be where you're from, and if that's the case, count yourself have been lucky. They are certainly real, and by the sounds of it, they are certainly here.
Well, why?
A lot of different things could cause it. Considering what we were told happened here, I'm guessing that's what caused it.
I mean, that has to be it, right? It's just too juicy, I want to say.
Mm.
Juicy is a poor choice of words, my friend. I wouldn't say friend,
Yeah,
sorry.
what's up?
Isaac.
What would Beryl have been told about like what happens when someone dies?
When someone dies, they. Well, that's a complicated topic for the Fae. In fact.
Yeah.
Probably not much.
Like she's
I mean,
the closest connection she has to the material plane is like some satyrs have some minimal knowledge.
right. I'm sure, actually, they could have told you that when someone dies, they end up in the care of a deity if they follow one, or if not, they end up somewhere that best suits them.
All right.
But knowledge of the afterlife is already pretty
Slim.
not known,
Yeah.
so...
I just thought, well, I just thought you go into the ground and you become a part of it. Is that not what happens?
It's often what happens. In fact, most of the time when you die, that's all that happens. You don't become a ghost or anything unwanted like that. As I said, it's all definitely rare. But they're
But not
also
impossible.
very real. Yes, Isaac, exactly.
Well, what do they want?
I'm afraid that's probably going to differ ghost to ghost.
Yeah, you can't generalize with ghosts. That's just unfair. Ghost stereotyping is just not cool.
Just
Not like it's a spirit that has a specific purpose. It's something that came out of an unfortunate or undesirable situation.
Beryl, you do recall the perception check you made during the night, right? I'm asking Zach here.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure.
She said, "Help me." I could hear that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you remember that.
Yep.
Wanted to be
Yeah.
positive.
Right.
Not saying
I
you have to
did
change
hear-
anything, but...
No, I mean I will. Yeah. Continue the conversation.
If the soul persists, there has to be some way to lay it to rest.
Well, she did seem like she was in an awful amount of distress.
Do we have time to do that? We are, and I say that purely because we are on a very limited time window here. We're already cutting it close as it is.
Jake, you said from Oakmil to Wolford was about 3 days. Is that correct?
I thought it was 3 days if we like booked it.
Booked it.
If you're traveling fast pace, yes.
4 days, perhaps, if we were
4 or
like
5, yeah.
Yeah. It's the 16th. We have to. Winter, remember, it starts the 21st.
So assumedly you should be there up by the 20th at the very least.
I mean,
At the latest, or the 19th, ideally.
we've got a little bit of time. We could probably just. I just feel so bad. I mean, she seemed like she wanted help, and I mean, she came to my room.
Well, who's to say she
Yes.
didn't go to anyone else's room?
Did
That
she
could
go
be
to any
a
of
real-
yours?
Well, no, but could be a real good trick on her part.
Why would she?
I
Yeah,
did
maybe-
experience sounds and movement that disturbed my sleep in a eerie fashion. I wouldn't say it was only you that had a visitor, only you had a visitor that made themselves apparent and attempted to speak.
Me too.
Astrid, by this point, you would have head out and seen all of them in the hallway.
Astrid, get this. Beryl saw a ghost.
Why are we talking about it in the hallway?
Down
We
in the
all sort
tavern,
of-
you're going to have a bartender and other folk from the town that potentially don't want to hear us talking about their ghosts.
No, I understand that, but we're also in a high traffic area.
Yeah, well, we also sort of bumped into each other as we all left our rooms, so it just sort of happened.
I mean, would you like to come into my room?
I mean, is there a ghost in there?
We could
I
show
didn't
Beryl.
check. Would you like to?
I mean, I would prefer to know if there was a ghost or not.
I don't think so.
Okay. Then we
And
can
Astrid, you would have been taught that ghosts are real, so you'd know the different stuff. You're educated enough that you would know. So what are you guys
We
doing?
could
You
show-
going? Okay.
And we can show Beryl what a lock is.
So are you going into Astrid's room? Is that what you're doing?
Sure.
Okay, sure. You all head into Astrid's room.
Girls' room.
A bit tight with all the people in here, but I mean,
I also point to where the lock is on the door and display locking and unlocking it.
Right.
I mean, in
well,
all fairness, this wouldn't have stopped the ghost, but it's still good to know.
now I know, and I'll do that to prevent non-ghosts.
So you saw a ghost, Beryl?
I saw a little girl, the same one I saw last night, out in the rain, and it was really disturbing. She looked like she was drowning or something, but she also said, "Help me." And
I mean, that
then
sounds like a ghost.
she was gone. I guess so.
Mr. Darrow, I believe you wanted to look at the orphanage anyway, didn't you?
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but it is the kind of thing that I would be very interested in.
That's kind of dark.
I've read a lot of ghost stories. Like, this is it. I'm not going to say ghost hunting is a hobby of mine, but like when I was a kid, we would go around the city and look for ghosts. And usually we only found hobos, and that was really disappointing.
Hobos?
Homeless people.
Homeless?
As in people that live on the street. Sleep there, eat there.
Look, I'll be the first to admit that my imagination could get the better of me. But this seems like a genuine ghost sighting. And
It does.
it's probably connected to that orphanage. And even if it's not connected to that orphanage, I bet you that orphanage has a ghost.
Let me ask you this, Isaac. What are you going to do if there is a ghost? More importantly, what are you going to do if there's a ghost that doesn't like you? One of us.
I can't say I've thought that far ahead. I realize that we're probably not going to get anything out of this venture.
Why
But
wouldn't ghosts like us? We're nice.
I mean,
enough.
yeah, I agree with you, Beryl. But there are vengeful ghosts. There are ghosts looking to possess people. They could possess your body or whatever and take them over as their own.
Why would they
Alright,
do
is
that?
Jake, is that nonsense or?
This
Roll
is all.
history? Roll
He has
history.
not.
You can roll history. I'll say an advantage because you have the knowledge of it. Silas, you can too. By the way,
The possession part.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, Jesus Christ. With where you are in the book, by the way, Silas, you just got through the explanations, but you're getting to categories of different things by this point. You're in specters now, but there is a section on types of ghosts as well. Yeah, the two of you know that there's less. That's more of a specter thing, but ghosts can possess people. It's just more of a specter thing instead of a ghost. But it would depend on the type of ghost.
It's amazing how close to the truth the wild ghost stories seem to get.
Again, I'll admit this is not a subject that I've really researched. It was on my list to get to, but I was kind of content with the stories.
Vengeful or not, we should lay them to rest.
I have a question.
And how... Yes, sister?
Well, it's sort of a two-part question, but the parts are not related. One is, if we take any time to delay our trip, that means y'all don't think nothing bad is going to happen to us on the road like it has every single other time we've traveled, and we'll make it there in time? Because I can't afford to miss that opportunity. But the other thing is, if this town's been haunted for 10 years, you really think we're the first jackasses to come in and think we can fix it? I'm sorry. I feel like if they wanted to be laid to rest, they would have been laid to rest by now by someone a lot smarter than us.
Alas, wise words from my sister.
I mean,
And
she does.
Soul, do you have any recommendations on how to lay ghosts to rest from experience or studies?
In my many years, I have never seen a ghost. But it would not hurt to try.
Could hurt. Not likely to hurt, but it could. As my sister explained, if we lose time, then something bad happens that costs us more time, we could be late.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
I mean, again, I don't think we're really going to gain anything besides, just the feeling of satisfaction from having done a good deed, which is very valid. Don't get me wrong. But, and again, I'm all for going to this orphanage. I just kind of agree with Josie that I don't think it's going to lead to much.
Right. Well, with that being said, I mean, I don't really like it here.
Nor do I.
And
There is.
Josie does make a good point. I mean, we have been having some issues on the road, so we should probably be moving on. I mean, the ghosts are always gonna be here until they're not, right? We
What's
can
to
always
stop us from coming back and helping?
come back.
I will agree. Asiana. Um, she would say, I would agree, but there is bad juju here. But what is more important than going to Wolf? What is more important than what's going on here? What's there in Wolford?
Work. Good coin.
We are
Get lives
adventurers.
going.
We can find work
You,
anywhere.
you, you might be an adventurer. I am seeking to get this work, to get this good amount of money, to get my sisters and my lives going in a much better direction than it was prior. Did not come to this land to randomly fix every problem came across and just be adventurers, whatever side coin is acquired.
Yeah, I have to agree with Silas. It'd be different if somebody hired us to solve this ghost problem, and even then, how long is that going to take? Like, I just want to put it out there that I am foregoing my own curiosity because I don't think anything is really going to be gained from it.
I mean, it just kind of looks to everybody else in the group like, I mean, that's saying something, right? That's something there. If he's okay with leaving it, then we should probably leave it, yeah?
Wise words from Barrel.
Been known to happen.
I mean, how much time do we have?
Well,
Exactly the amount of time we need to get there.
we could get there. We could get there quickly, and probably have a spare day.
If we have no problems and we run the horse ragged,
I don't really like the idea of that. So, realistically, 4, which will put us right in line when we're expected.
I have a curiosity as well. Isaac is not the only one, and I won't let it seem that way. But I heavily agree with my sister on both her points.
What if we simply visited the site for an hour or two and then left? Just enough to see what it was all about, and then we can be on our merry way.
Isaac smiles at that very, very widely.
I'm not suggesting we fix anything, but at the very least, we'll have a little bit more information. And if we do intend on coming back, it won't be completely blindsided.
I think
All
that
right.
sounds smart.
It's a more than fair idea. And if we happen to come across a ghost in that time, attempts can be made to attempt to lay them to rest. So
I can even bring the car there. That way we can leave directly.
Did Beryl ever find out what the weather was?
No,
Did I?
Nobody's gone downstairs yet.
Oh fuck! We need to go downstairs.
There are windows upstairs, though. If you would have looked
I
out
would
the
look
window.
out the window.
I don't know how to use it.
It's cloudy and wet outside, but it's not raining currently.
Ugh. Can't see the sun.
So what are you guys doing now? You're gonna head downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. As you guys start making your way downstairs, you begin to overhear what sounds like a conversation happening between someone at the bar and the barkeep as you hear a refined voice speaking out as it goes, and I'm warning you, please listen to this. Even if it doesn't help, do not take more of them. That will be detrimental. Incredibly, it could increase you. Could be very, very bad. As you all would make your way down the stairs, and you would see, firstly, the barkeep behind the bar, the innkeeper, and what looks like a well-dressed man, half-elf looks like, with short brown hair that goes a bit longer at the back, going toward his the upper side of his neck, who is wearing what looks like a pair of glasses, that is dressed very nicely and has what looks like a medical bag up on the counter. As you see, what looks like he has a vial of a bottle, what is filled with what look like pills that he is giving over to the innkeeper. As the innkeeper would just say, thank you, doctor," as he goes, "Yes, just remember my advice. Not more than one, even if it doesn't help." As he goes, of course, as he says, "Say it back to me." And the innkeeper sighs and just goes, "Not more than one, even if it doesn't help." As the doctor just goes, "Good." As you all make your way down the stairs. As the man begins to close up his bag, looks and sees you all, the innkeeper goes, "Ah, morning." The well-dressed man looks to you all. Just, goes, "Travelers?" Question.
Yes.
Hopefully be on
Everything
your...
all-
Oh, God.
Everything all right down here?
Yes, just a prescription. Well, if you're in town for long and you need any medical aid, my office is not too far. So he goes to start walking away, not introducing yourself or anything like that. And assuming nobody says anything, he walks out and leaves.
We'll sit down at the bar.
Mm-hmm. As you'd see the innkeeper
Did we
pocket
get
what looks like the medicine.
name?
Nope.
Nobody asked his name, no one gave their name.
Hello. Morning.
Morning. As you see
You
him
alright?
clutching his head a bit, just, sleeping troubles.
Right.
Everyone in
Didn't
town
know
has
that.
them. It's not a big deal. Dr. Bergenworth there, he, gives us, sleeping pills occasionally to assist.
What was your name again? I'm sorry. I didn't catch it.
I'm William.
William. What's for breakfast, William?
Oh! Yes, we serve breakfast, of course. Right, I can go get something. As he goes to walk, away to go check for food behind the counter.
William,
Yes?
you all right?
Like I said, sleeping troubles. And then if any of you
You
are
said the
looking...
whole.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, if any of you are looking at him, you can roll perception.
Perception? I was inciting his honesty.
Well, you can insight him as well if you'd like. But I'm saying if you're looking to
eyes
see
are
any signs of, tired.
Damn, Josie.
Damn, that's a bad roll from Astrid.
Her eyes are broken.
Yeah, everyone but Astrid can see that he looks pretty exhausted.
I mean, we're all probably.
You said the whole
pretty-
town
Was he being honest, real quick?
Yes, he was being honest.
You said the whole town has trouble sleeping?
Yes. You know, it's it's an Oakmil affliction. We all have well, we have issues sleeping. There's nightmares. The town's a lot's happened to the town. It's one of those things.
So I've heard.
Have you seen a little girl in your nightmares?
I've seen many things in my nightmares. Excuse me, I'm not particularly comfortable to speak about that. No offense.
Would you give us directions to the site of the old orphanage? We wanted to pay our respects before we left town.
Oh, I would just steer clear. Just don't go near it at all. Paying respects, I mean, by this point, just stop by the temple, give a prayer if you're looking to do that. I wouldn't go anywhere near the place.
Why?
I mean, it's a horrid place to be. Its vibes, and its energy is just terrible. It's not exactly a pleasant place, considering what happened.
Right, we don't have to get into it. That's fine.
I don't particularly want to get into it. If you're interested in what happened at the orphanage, I would suggest maybe going to the library and asking there. They're usually more willing to talk. Or perhaps, yeah.
Your town has a library.
Small one. It's mostly for archives.
Like town history and
Aye,
things of that nature?
yes. It's in the same building as the town hall.
Sounds like we're going by the town hall.
So, yeah. And Silas, can I pull you aside for a sec?
Should I go fetch the food now, or do you have any more questions?
Yes, please. That's fine.
He's gonna go.
This sounds wonderful.
He's gonna go walk off to get breakfast.
If Isaac's trying to pull me aside, I'll go aside with him.
Sure.
Well, I turned to the whole group. Like, I just didn't want to say it in front of the innkeep.
Mhm.
Okay, guys. I told you I read a lot of ghost stories. And this does not seem like a singular incident. He said that the whole town is having nightmares. This seems like a mega ghost incident. And honestly, my danger sense, while very weak and not very good, is kind of peaking right now. And I don't think we should mess with this. I think Josie was right.
Great.
So
we're just
go ahead.
we're just gonna bugger off then. That's the decision.
So,
I actually think that that's the best idea. And
I agree, wholeheartedly.
I'll be honest, in the first half of that,
What?
I was fully expecting you to go the other direction, so I'm very surprised right now.
I mean,
actually chuckles at that. Just be like, Isaac, what part of entire orphanage didn't seem large scale to you?
I knew it was like, bigger than just like a single grandma haunting like an old family house. But
You
like,
think that only one or two of the children actually became ghosts?
well, I didn't know. They're being very cagey about the details.
Then wait a minute. I'm fascinated by this grandma scale. How does it go up from there?
Okay, so it starts off at grandma who died peacefully in bed, but
Alright.
maybe forgot to tell her grandkids that she loved them or something like that. So So you know she regrets that, but she's like being creepy about it and haunting them. And then it goes up to like somebody was like maybe like killed in the house and there were a victim, but then maybe it goes like the murderer is still in the house, and then it just it just keeps on escalating from there. But usually it starts at grandma. That's what I've read at least.
And the wild ghost stories have now full-fledged departed from reality.
Shouldn't
I'm a
talk
bit worried
about
about my
ghosts in
grandmother
this
now.
town. Like the
I
way you're
turn and look.
doing.
I turn and look at whoever the hell's talking.
Sure, as you turn and look at the door, that
Just a
man,
weathered sea captain.
Please.
dressed in the long coat from the other night with the gray hair, who's identified as Mr. Marsh as he walked out, has just entered the building very quietly. None of you heard him walk in. As he looks to you all with a smile, he is
This one's also a ghost, guys.
as he looks to you all with a smile, goes, "A lot of superstition in town. Not best to be talking about these types of things."
Seems like there's a lot of facts in town.
Live long enough, you'll find that fact and superstition often begin to blur.
I've already noticed that between his wild stories and what facts I've actually learned.
Regardless,
I mean, to Isaac when I say his.
want to be a bit more quiet and not as, well, I'll just say, passionate about talking about stuff like that while you're about town. People get sensitive.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that there was somebody else in the room. I understand that it's a
People
bit of a
often don't hear me
touchy
walk in. It's one of my good points. Catches me when catches people talking bad about me.
I'm sorry to hear that. You seem like a nice enough fellow. I don't see why people would talk bad about you.
They don't talk bad about me. It was a joke,
Yes.
lad.
If I had to guess, guess, sensitivities has probably been what has led to, well, the problem not being solved for the better part of a decade.
Depends on what you think the problem is.
I have no clue what it is, and I don't pretend that I'm going to look into it enough to find out what it is. But sensitivities to not talk about things generally leads to ignorance. Ignorance leads to problems.
Man walks up. She goes, "Name's Edward Marsh. Folk here call me the captain or mayor.
The mayor captain or Captain Mayor?
No, captain or mayor.
Oh, okay.
Why would they call the mayor captain?
2 jobs?
Used to be a sailor back in the day. Back before I came here. Far away from the sea now. Seems
Do
like
you
a
miss it?
lifetime ago. No, I don't miss it for a day.
Well, I've never been on the ocean before.
It's miserable work being a captain of a fishing boat. Being beaten against by the waves and having to haul in heavy loads of thousands of those bug-eyed things.
Fish?
Hey, the stink is the worst part of it.
What's it stink like?
I couldn't describe it to you if I wanted to.
Oh, alright. Well, apologies for talking about you know what.
Just keep it on the down low if you're gonna talk about it. Especially around some folk. There's been a lot of well, let's see, a lot of people don't live their life to their fullest here. So there's a lot of sensitivity because of that.
I'd imagine they don't if they're not sleeping very well on the regular.
That's not why. As he walks over and he's gonna sit at the bar.
Well, no, I'd imagine the reason why is the same reason people aren't sleeping well. Which is all the more reason people here should probably be talking about it to try to get a solution for it. Outside aid, if necessary, pay for it. I'm sure there are people that would flood here to solve the problem if there was coin involved.
Yeah. Well-meaning idiots would flood here, or at worst, coin-looking idiots that are just looking for coin would flood here.
If you don't mind me asking, I don't really get it. I mean, if everybody's having so much trouble here and they're all upset all the time, why don't you all just leave and go somewhere nicer?
This is nicer compared to where I came from. Most people
Alright.
won't leave because their families have been here for years. Some people don't have the opportunity to just pack it up and go. They don't have the money. But they could live anywhere else. And some
don't
people,
need
like
money
me,
Move.
you need money to
don't-
live. I see you're a rather fit lass. Most people couldn't live
Aye.
without money. Maybe you could. But say someone like me, old, and not exactly fit anymore, send me out into the world with no money just to live off the land, I'd be dead in a week.
Can I size him up? Does he look...
Way past his prime. He's old,
Yeah.
ragged, and tired looking. But most people don't leave because this is where their families are from. It's a pride thing. Some people don't leave because, well, a lot of people like me, this is the better option than where we originally came from. Not from this town.
Where are you originally from?
Came from Innsmouth, and I'll leave it at that.
How long has
Any
the
bells?
No,
Good
not
job.
to you. Isaac can roll on Innsmouth, that's it. History.
Yeah, I would like that. Poopy.
Praxmore.
Name sounds familiar, but you don't fully recognize it.
how long has the good doctor been here?
About 2 years now.
Hey, I'm just going to be blunt because I just really need to know, and you may save us some time. How did those kids die?
Oh.
Even Silas just runs his hand down the front of his face at that.
He looks over to you, he's got a toothy grin on his face. He goes, interested a bit in the macabre there, are ya?
I mean, yeah, it's more of a curiosity. I'll admit it.
Ah. You sure you want to know?
Yes.
Positive about that.
Isaac, maybe don't.
I mean, it's gonna save us some time. We were gonna go to the orphanage maybe anyway, or go to the
Their
library.
eyes were gouged out by the director, torn from their eyes with spoons. Most of them bled to death or died from the shock. Only 2 made it out alive. Grisly. Very grisly.
Did your little girl have eyes, Barrow?
Did she?
Couldn't see beneath the hair.
Did any
I
of them
couldn't really
drown? We're already past the point of.
You're asking
Terrible,
a
huh?
lot of questions that you shouldn't be asking, especially in a public place. If you really want to know more about what things that are happened, you might want to be...
It's a good thing we don't, then.
You are the mayor, and one of ours, just literally saw such a gurgling sight.
Could have been mistaken. Could have been long day of travel. It was raining.
Look,
I
you want to talk?
don't.
You can talk to me at my office. But I'm
That's
not
all right,
talking to you
really.
here. I can see that old innkeeper is a bit busy. So I'm gonna head out and just eat at me abode at the office. If you want to know more about anything that's going on, you can talk to me. If you don't, well, I recommend you get as far away from Oakmil as you can if you don't want to be involved in it. As he goes to walk out the door, and he goes, and if you're, well, if you're one of the more, squeamish types, more easily upset, I recommend just looking at the ground when you walk out of the tavern and just walk straight looking at your feet toward whatever place you want to go. As he walks out of the tavern.
And they wonder why they don't get business here.
I don't think they wonder that at all. I think we should leave. As quickly as possible.
Innkeeper returns as he has food prepared for everyone from on a platter. As he goes, yes, here. Sorry, we're
Thank
not
you.
particularly equipped. We don't
Out of
usually
curiosity,
get. Yes.
how much money would it take to get you to try to make a life elsewhere?
It would take quite a lot, sir. This was my mother's.
Sal's kind of like runs his finger over his nose and goes, I assume by that notion you're now the owner?
Yes, that would be a fair assumption.
How much for the food?
Just think of it as a part of the room. I think that sounds right.
It looks really tasty. I'd like to give you something.
Don't worry about it. As he sets the food down. That's how we used to operate it back when people used to come.
Right.
Soul would lay a gold on the table.
Sal's put his hand back in his pocket.
Okay.
After seeing Soul do that.
Um,
It's mighty generous of you, Soul.
Beryl will put down 10 copper pieces.
Yeah, he'll take the tips. Enjoy. If you
And-
need anything, let me know, please.
Start eating breakfast quickly.
Okay. Eat breakfast quickly. What are you all gonna do after?
Isaac, did you get your curiosity fulfilled, or did you scared off?
No, I mean,
Assuming the innkeeper's right there.
it's
by
gonna
the way.
sound really weird, but doesn't sound like the kind of ghost story I think I really want to get myself involved in. Kind of just seems like a tragedy all around, and I don't really want to dive into that.
No ghost stories here,
Not
sir.
enough grandmothers.
Say that again, Astrid.
Not enough grandmothers.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I'm sorry, I don't even have anything to say to that because it's too funny.
No ghost stories here, sir. Nothing like that.
So you got your rocks off and now
Cut off the end of that.
so you got your rocks off and now we
Same
Happen
exact.
again.
Gave the exact same point. We got "and now," and then it stopped.
so you got your rocks off and now we are leaving.
Whoa, you make it sound like I have a fetish or something. No, man, I was just curious.
No, if you had the fetish, the grandmothers would have to be involved. The fact that there are no grandmothers seems to be the issue that I'm picking up on.
Astrid, you're putting a lot on me, and I really don't appreciate it.
I don't understand. What do rocks have anything to do
Beryl,
with it?
Beryl, don't. Beryl, just, I promise you want to leave it alone. This conversation has gotten bad social manners, even for my taste, and that's probably saying a lot because I'm normally bad at these things.
What, you don't like grandmothers?
I don't like continuing to disturb people around us just for the sake of it. I don't poke bears just to poke bears. There's nothing to gain from it. Leave it alone. It's what I'm trying to point out. Sal's gonna put a silver down in the bar and go, I'm sorry for all of this.
Don't apologize.
take-
You've been very generous, and you've given us more business than we've had in a while.
Well, perhaps the money can go to problem solving, or not. It's yours to do what you want with, I suppose. So I was going to just take one more bite and go, I'm going to go recover things. I'll be with whiskey.
Whiskey.
You're gonna walk outside, Silas?
Pausing just long enough to see if Josie or anyone's coming with them, but yeah.
Yes, I'm following, and I realized that like the horse was left all alone in this town. Very, very concerned for the horse's well-being.
Are you walking
No, I'm not
out, looking
staring at
at the
my feet.
ground, staring at your feet?
Nope.
Beryl?
No, I have no idea where the stables are, so I'm like actively
That's
looking
exactly
for them.
why.
Two of you step out as you walk down from the steps at the tavern. It was dark last night, so you couldn't see this clearly. But there looks to be what looks like a signpost that is built up at the side of the road next to the tavern that is hung up. Looks like there are papers on it, and it is wet with wood. Any of you going to look at it any further? Or are you just going to try and walk past?
Looking for the stables.
Silas?
Take a glance at it.
As you take a glance at it, you see what look like torn pieces of paper cover it in many places, as if things were torn down, but they still remain, whether it be from nails that have just basically fused with the wood, or it's sticking to the wood because of the rain. But from what you can see, all of these are missing posters for what look like children between the ages of 6 and 16, generally, you see. All across the board. Looks about 20 children altogether. Over time. There are dates on each of different ones, some of them older than the other. As they are soggy, wet, and torn, some of them. All across the board. With one on it that looks a bit more pristine, as if it was put up recently.
I'm guessing just a standard, standard. I'm guessing just like the missing posters, not like any like rewards or looking for or
Oh, there are
talk
rewards.
to or anything like that.
There are rewards on there. But the rewards differ.
And I'm guessing just
Some,
it's probably just like talk to this parent or this person.
yes. And some give, basic monetary amounts, but a lot of them, you can tell there's a bit of desperation behind what is written, just saying all I have or whatever you want, things and so on, so forth. Many of them up there look like they have never been taken down.
I'm gonna have to remind myself, Silas is not me. As Silas is gonna glance at that, shake his head, and keep looking for the stable.
Hell yeah.
Is anyone else coming out, or was it just those two?
Fuck those poor people.
I didn't go that far.
I guess if we're
After
all done
asking
with
that
breakfast-
question, Astrid will come out.
Yeah, I would follow Astrid.
All
So
of
would
you.
follow that.
Do
Yeah.
either of you know what the stables are?
I'm still looking. Like, do I see anything around the area? Because like
I mean, it's
Like,
road. There are buildings. It was a
Astrid
bit
took
before you. It was a bit before you got here, and the stables were near the gate. So no, you don't see anything that would indicate it.
All right.
But
So I'll just
as each of you step out, all of you would see the signpost, and if any of you would look closer at it, you would see what I had described before. With the
I would,
with the recent one looking on it as well, which looks very recent.
I would go up to it and inspect the most recent looking one.
You reading it, trying to get its like information. and
Yeah,
such?
whatever the most recent dated one or the most recent looking one is, I want to see who exactly is missing. What it says on it.
Sure. Do. As one moment. I'm pulling up the thing. As the name on it says, it is missing a Billy Webley. So I'll give you the name.
Not a little girl.
It is a young boy, by the description. Human, with short, blonde hair and green eyes. He was last seen the other night. Last night. Sorry, not last night. He was last seen, yesterday during the day and never returned home. There is a reward for 50 gold pieces. And there's a parentheses that says, or any other amount of gold. And this one, again, looks newer. It only looks wet because it's on the wet board.
You don't need to give me like an exact number, but like how like from the ones that I could read that are not destroyed or whatever by the weather.
20.
How far back do these missing persons reports go? Like how many years, days, months?
About 8 years.
About 8 years. Okay,
Not 9 years, actually.
9
And
years.
there aren't any children out playing, are there?
You look around.
Yeah.
Not a single child in sight.
Gosh, where are those stables? Somewhere around here, I think.
Yeah, Isaac will see that, absorb the information, turn around, mouth haunted to the group, and proceed to help look for the stables.
So, not even for the children?
I mean, I'm tempted to have a sting at this point. I can make myself look like a child.
Sting.
Might work.
Wait, you're trying to solve this problem? And you want to put yourself at risk in the process by pretending yada. And the one flexible day we have in our timetable?
Yes, actually. I mean, obviously, if that goes against everything else the group wants, then I'll have to defer to the group, but this is more than a ghost story.
Oh, clearly,
Oh, it's
super
something
ghost story.
causing. No, it's something causing that. Josie, what do you think?
I mean, I think all my other points still stand.
How
So I'm not. Go ahead. Go ahead.
how far behind will we be if we take 2 hours?
You think we're going to solve a town-wide child missing crisis in 2 hours?
We could try.
If we wait 2 hours, we'll be 2 hours behind.
Also, 2 hours worth of effort, I don't think is very applicable to the word try.
I like feel for these kids. I do. Or whatever, but
But screw them, you need the money.
well, frankly, yes. Or else I'm going to become one of those homeless people you just learned about, which I'm not quite looking forward to.
Living outside is called camping.
Not when it's done in a city area.
Not when you don't have another choice.
And most homeless people don't have tents.
Barrel, are you still looking for the stable at that point, or are you turning back around or anything?
No, I'm still looking.
Okay.
Astrid, you want to try to solve this problem? My sister certainly has good logical points. Isaac, you're afraid of the possible outcome, or
I honestly, and this may sound selfish, I just don't think I'm personally going to get anything out of it. I mean, maybe I'll get to see a ghost, which would be pretty rad. I'm not going to lie, but I don't really see the point in endangering ourselves and delaying our timetable for maybe 50 gold. I mean, even if we count up all the rewards on this here board, how much are we going to get compared to what we're going to get at Wolford? And I,
Astrid,
God, yeah.
how is this to you? As you are the only one that has experience driving whiskey. I know you've been teaching, but
Oh, I'm certain if Beryl had to drive her or drive him, she could.
I did ask how important this was to you.
I'm not exactly sure how to describe it. It feels very important.
Barrel, as you're looking around, trying to find whatever, you spot in a window in a house, not too far, at the side. Looks like a black-haired girl standing in the window, drenched in water, looking out at you.
Barrel.
As it just presses her hand against the window, as you can see, its hand is drenched still, and begins to just draw across it with the water, trying to make something out. But it would be hard to see because it is water, so would you be attempting to see it, or are you going to look away?
I have money. I'm certain I could acquire another horse if you all wanted to move ahead.
You remember how hung up I get on repaying and staying even with people.
Okay, I do wanna know what Barrel's gonna do before that goes any further, as I did ask. Are you looking away, or are you going to try and look at what she's writing?
I will look at what she is writing.
It says, "Help me."
Yeah.
Go on, you can keep talking now.
And you see, Astrid, personal feelings aside, I have been prevented from falling just recently more than once by you. Leaving you behind here to deal with this problem that would likely get just one of us, any one of us, into something bad or worse wouldn't exactly feel like keeping things even for me. So while I 100% agree with my sister's assessment, I'm willing to give this one day. And if we've not made serious ground in that one day, we leave. Agreed?
I can
And
agree
this
to that.
does mean. Sorry, go ahead. You said what?
I can agree to that.
This does mean that I expect not to have any complaints if I point out we don't have time to help people down the road on the way to Wolfwood we may come across.
I don't believe I've been doing that, but I understand.
I'm just covering things beforehand. It's not been a thing that's happened, I don't believe.
Jake, did you see my message?
Sister,
I did not. One moment.
Whisper in chat.
Sorry, I have my thing open. You're walking closer? Okay, sorry. So you're gonna walk. Okay. I mean, I say that out loud because at least one person's gonna notice. Let me check. Yeah, I mean, Josie is going to notice that you're walking away. Actually, Soul, I don't know your passive perception. Tell it to me.
15.
Okay, so Soul and Josie notice Beryl starts to walk toward a building.
And me.
You're gonna follow her? Oh, you don't? You have a 15 as well?
My passive is 16.
Oh, okay, yeah, then you notice as well.
sister, we won't wind up homeless, even if we get a major setback, yeah?
I know I was being a little bit dramatic.
We're really gonna do this.
Besides, with
You change your mind that easily. And he's gonna turn to Astrid and be like, "Damn, Astrid, he must really like you."
has nothing to do with liking, Isaac. I keep things even with everyone.
Maybe you should try yelling at him more, Mr. Darrow.
Beryl, you're gonna arrive outside of the building, and I'm gonna call break now, and we'll pick up with what you're doing once I get back.
Cool.
As, let's do a pause. Yes, you guys are certainly doing a lot of discussions about this.
Mm-hmm.
with
Sweet.
we're going back into it with Beryl. As
The headband trick.
Beryl.
I don't know.
you start to walk forward, as you approach the building that you saw the girl in, you look up again, and she is no longer in the window. But you stand
look
before the door that is shut.
I look around all around me, see if she's anywhere else.
Doesn't appear to be from a cursory glance around the area. But you're at the door.
I knock on the door.
You knock on the door, and a few moments pass, and then the door, you hear what sounds like something unlocking from the other side, like a mechanism turning, and the door opens, and you see a very somber-looking individual. What looks like a half-elf man with shoulder-length black hair that looks basically identical to the girl's black hair, who has heavy bags under his eyes, looks young, maybe like in his 20s, maybe probably not that, probably younger, maybe like in his late teens, like 17, 18, as he's standing there in common looking garments. They're darker, he has bags under his eyes, he has long black hair with slightly pointed ears and what look like blue eyes, as he looks at you and goes, sorry, I don't think I know you. Can I help you?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
And Beryl, why don't you? No, you don't have to roll. Yeah, roll perception at advantage.
Okay.
He looks pretty similar to the little girl. Like they could be family.
I don't want to sound insensitive, but maybe know a little girl with black hair.
He looks sad as he hears that. Sorry if you're... Sorry, 1 second. I'm trying to find a name. If you're looking for Sibylla, I don't know how you knew her. I'm assuming that's who you're talking about. She's not with us anymore.
Right. Well, it's funny you say that. Because I think she might be with you?
No, Sibylla died. I'm sorry to tell you. I don't know how you know her. I don't know you, and I don't remember you from the town.
No, you wouldn't. I'm part of a group that's just passing through. But I did see her.
You're mistaken. She's dead.
Right? Thought I was mistaken the first time. The second and third time, a little bit less so. I think she's asking for help.
Look, I don't know who you are, but just please be on your way. Spill's dead. You don't know. You're mistaken, as he goes to shut the door.
Why is there so much water?
He stops the doors. He goes, I don't know if this is supposed to be some sort of sick prank, but I don't think
No.
it's funny.
No,
As
I'm
he
not
goes
trying.
to shut the door.
I'm sorry.
Door shuts. Unless you try to stop it. As the door's shut. And it sounds like it locks. As I said before, back in the group, Astrid, Sol, and Josie saw Beryl walk away, just to remind you. 3. Beryl, are you going to do anything after that?
I'm gonna turn back around and head back towards the group.
Okay. As you walk towards the group, you would see the signpost this time. As you approach again, are you going to look at it this time, or are you going to look away?
Yeah.
As you look at it, you see the obvious, but then something immediately catches your eye as you look. The stunning, exact visage of the little girl that you have seen as a missing poster, wet, barely clinging to the board still. Appears to be from about 2 years ago. It's very faded. You can barely get the name or anything. You're just barely able to get the clarity of it for some reason. But as you get back to the group, Astrid, Josie, Sol, you'd notice Beryl approach back. And if you guys have anything to say, Beryl, if you have anything to say as you approach back.
I wanna take her poster down.
Sure. You trying to do it carefully?
Yeah.
Roll me a dexterity check, because it's pretty wet. Yeah, you kind of tear the top half from it as you pull it down. As I said, it's very clumpy and wet.
Is there any other information besides the picture?
Roll perception. Okay. You get the name. Sibylla Wells. Last seen, and then it is completely faded from the water. The damage too extreme.
As Beryl approaches, Isaac turns to her and says, Beryl, come on, we need to talk some sense into these people. They actually want to stay for a day and see if they could help out.
Right. I think we should.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry. It's just I just saw the girl again, and I think I may have talked to her brother. This is her. And I hold up the poster.
You know, the top half's ripped off, but, you know, you get the picture from it.
Well, where do we begin?
Well, I think the Captain Maya is a good place to start.
I'd agree.
Jake, can we get the map?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to move you there. Jesus. I'm an idiot.
I mean, no. I just want you to look at the map.
I can't believe I've allowed this to continue as long as I have. There you are.
Following Astrid's lead on this one, I will provide information, insight where I can and when I can, if it's of any value.
So what are you gonna do? You're gonna head to find the mayor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. As you start moving through the town. It is a pretty decently populated town, but as you walk around, there are no children out. And every few blocks, you pass another signpost that has maybe not the exact same amount of papers on there, but papers on there nonetheless that are for about the same exact thing. As you pass by each signpost, you can tell maybe these are put out throughout the town to spread awareness a bit better. People generally seem pretty somber as you move around the town. They go about their business pretty single-mindedly and looking mostly very tired and exhausted, haggard as they're going about their business. As you go to approach the town hall, which would be the Temple of Law, if you're going to try and find that. As you will, as you'll approach, seeing the Temple of Erithus, the statue of Erithus outside, and the symbols of the law gods at the front of it. As you approach, there are some guardsmen by it at the front. What do you do?
Hello, we'd like to speak to the mayor. We met him this morning at the Weeping Lady Inn.
Approaching the guard, I imagine.
Yes.
Mayor Marsh, I see. I can go, ask if he has free time, if you'd like to accompany me, but do you have an appointment, a name to give?
Astrid Concordier. We didn't introduce ourselves quite properly, but if you say it's the elven woman from the tavern this morning, he'll probably remember me.
Sure. Just, follow me this way. Should I assume all of you wish to meet with him?
Yes, please.
I see. Leads you all inside. As you find yourself in the Temple of Law, and you're used to these places being pretty well kept and well made, but even in here, it's not as well kept as, say, any other town you've been to. A lot of the pews are covered in cobwebs. There are broken pews in the temple area and such, and there are paintings that are fading, barely, standing anymore. As you are led toward a back area, waiting room, as he goes, just wait a moment, please, I'll go see if he is free. As he goes to walk inside, are any of you discussing anything in the brief moment that he's gone? Okay. Then he arrives back as he goes, Mayor Marsh seems to remember you. He said you all can come in, please. So he'll hold the door open for you.
Thank you. She'll enter.
Okay. As you all enter in, as you find yourself in a very, very simple office room. It has basically everything an office room will be. Cabinet, a desk, a chair, and a light, a lamp. And as well, there's one decoration. What looks like the head of a shark on the wall, hung up. As you see the Mayor Marsh, standing as you all enter, as he goes, So I see the curiosity got the best of ya. Thought you'd be heading out of town, and yet here you are at my doorstep. So he, offers you all to come in. There's nowhere for you to sit, any of you. And the guard shuts the door behind as he takes a stand at the back of the room, clearly on watch during the meeting. As he backs up against the table and just leans back a bit and goes, What can I do you for, then?
I didn't realize... Oh, no, Bear, you can go first.
No, actually, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. When we initially spoke this morning, I didn't realize that the children issue this town seems to have was continuing.
That's why I told you to keep watching the ground if you were a squeamish type.
What's being done currently in regards
Ah!
to the missing children?
Are these questions coming from an interested party?
If you're asking if I'd like to fix the problem, the answer is yes.
Right. Well, I know the lot of you came in last night, and that's your first time you've been in the town. I've already checked. So I can say you're not suspects. So I won't turn down any help. This has been happening for years. Ever since I came here, and ever since that foul event at the orphanage happened, this has been happening continually for years. I try to get it to stop. We get guard and we get investigators from the capital occasionally, and we try to find the source of it the best we can. We always come up with nothing.
Are there any similarities between the missing cases?
Every time it rains, a kid goes missing. And it rains a lot in Oakmil. 'Tis a bit strange. Innsmouth was a port city. You'd expect it'd rain a bit more than somewhere middle of nowhere. Yet, now I recall the storms of Oakmil more than I recall the storms of Innsmouth.
Does it rain suddenly without warning?
I wouldn't say without warning. If something happens all the time, and it's a continual pattern, that is the warning. The rain's always gonna come. Winter,
Do you know if we're due for rain today?
summer, fall, spring, doesn't matter. Rain always comes. Sorry, go ahead. Say what you said.
Are we due for rain today?
Say that again. For some reason my brain didn't process it.
Are we due for rain today?
Don't know. Looks out the window. Come nighttime, rain might start. Won't be another child that goes missing, though. First one's already gone missing. It's gonna be a while before another does. The rain comes, and a child goes missing. Then a couple days passes. Child's not found, generally. And it goes on. Only ever found one who went missing.
Where could we find them?
No, we didn't find her alive. Lass. She was dead.
Her name wouldn't be Sibylla, would it?
Spill Wells. Young girl. Bit of an oddball, but I knew the type. In Innsmouth we had a lot of them. Wanted to be scholarly types, especially when people from the Institute came in. But one day she just up and vanished. We found her days later. In a drain. Had good old Dr. Bergenworth take a look at her. Tried to cast his fancy magics on her. Couldn't get anything out of her. She was dead. Assumedly from drowning. Miserable way to go. Especially for one so young.
She has family here.
Aye, a brother. That's it.
Why-
Mother
why
died soon after.
Why keep the sign?
You talking about the post up?
Aye, wouldn't it just dredge up poor memories?
We took 'em all down. At least we were supposed to.
I hold it up.
Might have missed one or two.
How long ago was the girl found?
2 years ago, Sibylla went missing, and 2 years ago we found her. Took about 2 days for us to find her.
And where was this drain? Was it in town? Do you guys have a sewage system or something?
Aye, we've got a small sewage system that runs. Drains on the west end of town if you're interested in taking a look at it.
The children that go missing, are there any similarities among them?
Just that they're kids. Nothing about them were similar. In the beginning, we thought that it had to do with them being Innsmouth immigrants, because the first couple of them were immigrants from there. But afterward, people from the town started disappearing too. Kids.
Did a lot of... I know you mentioned that you were from Innsmouth. Did a lot of people from there immigrate
His
to...
eyes darken for a
Oakmil?
minute as he looks down. Aye. A lot of us came here.
For what reason, if you don't mind me asking?
His hand began to shake. There was a storm, you could say. Came in and anyone that didn't get out didn't make it out alive. At saying that, Isaac, you can have another history roll at advantage. Isaac, you've heard the tale of Innsmouth. It was a large port city in the nation of... Let me find the name. Invosia. It's a large port city in Vosia. One day, what is known as a tsunami came and wiped the city off the map, from what you understand. It is said through scholarly reports that the sea level rose, and Innsmouth just happened to be at a low enough part of the land that it affected it. And that's why it happened. But precautions have been taken since the fall of Innsmouth, since it was a tragedy. Anybody that didn't get out of there as quick as they did is assuredly dead. The place has been condemned and the surrounding area is abandoned. Say 15 years ago this happened.
Sibylla drowned, yes?
Aye.
This may seem odd, but do you know if it was in fresh or salt water?
No salt water nearby unless someone's bringing salt water by.
I understand that, but did you check?
I didn't smell salt water on her.
Alright.
But it's been a long time. I'd like to think I'd remember. Because I remember the smell of the sea better than I remember anything. But I don't know. His arm is still shaking, by the way, as he talks now after explaining about Innsmouth.
What happened to the director?
Oh, that's a big question. Director was a fine lady from what I understand, up until that day. Then she went mad and gouged the eyes out of all the kiddies she could get her hands on.
No, yes, I understand that part, but what happened to her afterwards?
Executed. Hung for her crimes.
Did she say anything beforehand?
The words you could understand from her were mad. Saying she did it to protect him. That they couldn't see it. They needed to stop. They couldn't see it. and that it had burned behind her eyes. We've had several people come in and investigate. Nothing turns up on why she could have done it.
When Astrid found the salt water in the forest,
Mm-hmm.
it was just the salt water, right? And then that feeling of intense dread and like the
Correct.
need to get away from it.
Correct.
And then her dream was just about being on the ocean.
It was.
Okay. She hasn't seen anything.
She has not.
Was the sewage, not aqueducts? That's different. Was the were the sewers ever checked thoroughly after the girl was found?
Verily, very. Found nothing. We don't have a large sewer system. We checked every nook and cranny. Drain pipe she came down from as well was only big enough to fit someone about her size.
Did you check where the orphanage connects to the sewer system?
Orphanage doesn't connect to the sewer system. Too old.
What did they do before then?
What'd you say?
What did they do before then?
For the sewage system?
Correct.
You'd have to ask someone who was in Oakmil longer than I. I've only been mayor since I arrived here about 12 years ago. I didn't know enough about the orphanage until, that business happened.
Do you know the director's name?
Yes. Give me one moment. Aye. Emily Mason. I don't think I have to spell that, do I?
No.
Okay.
Not unless you spelled it real weird.
I didn't. So...
If you don't mind me asking, how did a man like you become mayor? I just find it surprising that an outsider would have been elected.
Well... People of, Oakmil. They know tragedy. And, I myself, since Innsmouth, I ain't no stranger to it. I think they saw that we shared that in our eyes. Elected me because they knew I wasn't gonna do bad by these folk. Besides, I was a captain for a reason. I think it's my winner's smile. He smiles.
How many teeth is he missing?
Missing a couple teeth.
Okay.
But they're clean.
Has there been any other tragedies in Oakmil's history that you know of?
There's been many tragedies in Oakmil's history. There was a fire before I came, about 20 years ago. Blaze that set old town up in fire, killing almost half the original people who lived here. I don't know much about it. See those buildings that are outside the walls, though? That's all that remains of Old Town. We're in the newer section of town, when they started building back. Rebuilt. People of Oakmil have seen tragedy a lot. Aside from that, I don't know. You'd have to look further back in its history.
Do you know how the fire started?
No idea. Not really given it much thought, not really looked into it.
But you're certain the pattern remains the same. There's never two children taken at a time.
Not that I've seen, no. Been 9 years since it started. It's been the same. 2 children never go missing at the same time. And there's gaps. At least a month between each missing kid. Sometimes a bit longer.
Did you know Billy personally?
About as personally as you do as a mayor would anyone in a town such as this. Not particularly, but I know his ma. He was a fine kid. He was a bit of a rowdy one. Liked to misbehave, get up to mischief, wasn't keen on listening to his mother.
How tall was he?
Couldn't say off the top of my head. About the average size of a boy that age.
And what age is that?
He's about 8 years old.
Well, you've given me much to think about, unless any of my friends have any other questions.
How long has the town been in existence?
Oakmil's old. From what I understand, Oakmil's been around for quite a long time, since the founding of the kingdom. I'm forgetting how old the kingdom is off the top of my head. Sorry, 1 second. Any of you remember how long ago the spell plague took place off the top of your head?
A long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Basically.
Bell.
Oh, the letters are here now.
Hey, it doesn't matter, regardless. What's here now?
The letters.
Dude.
What letters? Yeah, I put them in there. I put that. It doesn't matter, regardless. He said what he said. He wouldn't know how old the kingdom is exactly anyway. Old town. Oakmil in the capacity that it exists in now, though, has only been around for about 18. After the fire, they rebuilt, and this is the place we got now. I'd say, considering they did a fine job, it's just a shame that things keep going awry.
Would you say, or would you know where I could find information about the history of sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Would you say that the tragedies in Oakmil first started with the fire, or do you know of any that predated that?
I wouldn't know. You'd have to look a bit more into the history.
Would the library have the history of the town?
Aye. If you'd like to look there. It's 1 floor down.
I think that should be our first stop.
Do you have issues sleeping here?
I've had issues sleeping since Innsmouth. I'm not a good gauge of that.
Have you ever used the doctor's supplements?
The sleeping pills? I did it first, and they helped for a bit. But after a while, the dreams came back. And I'm not dumb enough to take more than one of the pills. We already know what happened we already know what happens when someone tries to do that.
Enlighten me.
We had a man die about 4 years ago. After his son went missing, well, he needed some sleeping aids, and apparently the nightmares just wouldn't go away. So he kept taking them until the man couldn't have a nightmare again.
Who gave him the pills then, if the doctor's only been here for 2 years?
That's right. Fuck. Okay. My bad. Sorry. That's a
Oh,
miscalculation.
man,
That's my
I
bad.
thought I had something!
Nope, that's me being wrong. It would have been 2 years ago then. I was doing something wrong in my head. I overcalculated how long the doctor's been here.
Before we go, could you give us directions to the orphanage?
Don't know if you want to be there.
I mean, I understand, and we've been told that, but...
No, it's not that. It's just... Well, I've seen some fucked up things. Especially since I saw what happened to Innsmouth. I don't squirm easily. I ain't no chicken, I ain't no pig. But when I walk up to that place, it sends a shiver down my spine and it makes me turn tail as fast as I can. Can't even set foot in the building. Something about it. And it smells too.
Okay, thank you. Directions?
If you're sure. 1 second.
I mean, obviously I can see it on the map, but
I think that's the west gate. I could be getting east and west confused right now, though.
It's east.
Okay.
It's east.
They was doing exactly that. East gate.
East.
Once you get out of the east gate,
Thank
just
you.
head north. You'll find it. Some trees still around it.
I am going to regret asking this. What is this smell?
The sea.
I actually do have a question. I've been listening for a while now.
Mm-hmm. That was Jake, not him.
You said the curse or what have you. You might not have used the word curse.
I wouldn't call anything
The
a curse.
events that have
The tragedies.
started happening after you arrived, not before.
The children going missing started happening after I arrived. The orphanage happened after I arrived. I expected that some would blame us from Innsmouth for their problems. But, pleasant surprise, we were not blamed.
Well, perhaps you all aren't to blame. Not directly. But if... A bit of a slight stretch here, mind you, theorizing, since we're trying to solve this. What if it was an ill-begotten spirit, or perhaps even a curse, that followed those from there to here?
Look, I'm a man of science, if I'm a man of anything. I don't know anything about spirits, I don't know anything about curses. So I don't know if something could have followed us from Innsmouth. But all I know is that this... No, go ahead.
No, go.
All I know is that this started happening after we showed up. But it's not like this place didn't have, as I said, some problems before that. With the fire and everything.
Yes, I understand that. But you said smells like the sea. Where you're from is near the sea. This place is not. The timing of the events that started to unfold. And I can assure you, as a man of science, most certainly. Ghosts, spirits, and curses are all very real.
I don't need to
things.
know about things being real. I know what's real and what's not. Get to the point of your line of thinking.
Who was the first from your former residency to arrive here?
We arrived together. We set out together, and we found a new home together.
Why so far, if you don't mind me asking?
Vosia didn't do shit for us after what happened to Innsmouth happened. Gave us platitudes and small condolences. Wouldn't help us at all, though. I wasn't gonna have life there with those vultures. Thought it'd be better here. And I'll say, at least the Queen treats her people better here. Won't find a damn person in all of Destin that doesn't view her like they view Erithis herself. And I can't blame him. She's everything but a saint in my eyes.
Right, well,
Uh,
I think it's about time we checked out that library then.
Aye. I'll let Elizabeth know you're stopping down then.
is there actually first Jake? With what I've read in my book, is there anything in there about anything like salts or incense or anything specific that is particularly helpful against ghosts outside of the magic?
Depends
protection
on the
from evil and
ghost.
good? So
You'd have,
that
to,
no
you'd,
kind
ha-
of ghost.
you'd have to know what type of ghost it is.
Fair enough.
And if you're trying to discern what type of ghost it is, you could try and roll a history or arcana. Probably just a flat intelligence check, actually. I don't think you have enough information at the moment.
It's fair.
So I'll give you a flat intelligence check, but...
Ooh.
You don't know why, but your finger lands on a page. And the page you land on, you read about a ghost. And it clicks in your head a bit that it could be this. As the mayor mentioned, the doctor using his magics, but not getting anything from her. As you read about a ghost known as a Dolar. Or a Dolor, sorry. Spirits of incredible resentment that were murdered in a horrific way, that are trapped upon the plane, stuck in a form of their body after they were freshly murdered before they breathed their last breath of life. These ghosts are created by what Van Richten writes is the hubris of magic, from its desire to speak and name the one that killed it so that it could go to rest, but it could not. It is created when Speak with Dead is cast upon someone who was murdered that cannot speak from the Speak with Dead spell, meaning that there's something that prevents them from talking. That is when a Dolar is possibly created. And you know, furthermore than that they have no weaknesses, and they have no special anything to prevent them or stop them. In fact, there's only one way to put a Dolar at rest. You have to find it and kill it yourself in a difficult fight at the place where it was killed, or you have to bring justice to the one that killed it. Then the spirit can finally rest.
The killer to do justice or to kill the killer?
I mean,
Okay, fair enough.
that would depend on the resentment of the ghost. You
Yeah.
assume.
Where was the girl found again?
Drain
And the
pipe.
Drain pipe.
Could you describe how to get there? Obviously, I'm not asking you to do that.
Well, yes, he already did. He did at the beginning of the conversation.
Okay. I think I know what we're dealing with, at least in the form of the ghost. But my guess is, since you're having children go regularly, something that is not a ghost, most likely, that is continuing to kill children.
It's a good guess. We don't know what it is. Assumed for a while it was a serial killer. Don't know any serial killer that's that good at their job, though, after all the investigations we've got. Unless they got some less than natural ties.
I'd imagine they whoever this is most likely has very unnatural ties, and we've been coming across plenty with demonic ties recently.
Don't know about any demons. But there were some gifted in magical ability in the town. At least one or two that came over from Innsmouth when we immigrated as well. Cleared most of them of any suspicion, though, is the problem there.
No one that came from Innsmouth has any sort of connection to being demonic or unholy?
Not that I know of.
I'd like
You'd like to what?
I would like to insight check that real quick.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Hard to read for some reason. I don't really know of anybody that's tied to anything unholy or demonic. Only gifted people we got from Innsmouth was someone who came with us long time ago. They've long since left Innsmouth. Don't remember their name. They were a bit gifted. And then there was... I'm getting the name. Then there was Asenath Waite. She's still here. Young girl. Works at the doctor's now. Doesn't really have anywhere else to go.
How young is she?
About 18 years old.
Yeah, spelling on her last name.
Yes. I can give you the entire name.
I only have one other question for you, Maya, and I apologize for what is most assuredly going to be considered rude, but how in depth were you investigated?
It's a good question. I can understand why you'd ask it. It's the smile, isn't it? Jokes aside, I was looked into by the by the royal investigators when they were here. I'm as clean as a whistle.
The guard's in the room, right?
Yeah.
A guardsman?
Mm-hmm.
Alice actually looked over her shoulder. Are you aware of a private investigator that looked into the man?
Royal investigator.
It's Royal Investigator, sorry.
I know of the royal investigators, yes.
Do you know if they looked into the man?
I can vouch for the man being looked into, yes.
I'd like to insight check both of them,
Sure.
if possible. Damn!
Stop insight
Killing
checking people. You're just making it worse for yourself. No, you don't know. I mean, you're having trouble getting a read on people. Maybe you're still a bit more shaken than you assumed.
Right. Well, I'm ready to go check out the place where she was found. Discuss more on the way there.
I just want to tell you, if you're looking to look into this, there's not much anyone can give you if you solve the problem. We don't really have money.
Don't want money.
Some of us don't.
Keep your gold.
Well,
Silas, if you want money, I can just give you money.
I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this to be closer to even with Astrid.
well, whatever reasons you're
From my
doing it,
perspective.
just know that this town's been through a lot of hardships and a lot of trouble. I'm not gonna say no to you looking into it and investigating it, but please don't add to those troubles or those hardships.
Sometimes to find the infection that's causing sickness, you have to cause some harm to get down into it and remove it.
Sometimes when you remove it, you cause too much harm and the leg can't heal. Won't matter if you get rid of the infection if you're gonna cut the man's leg off entirely for it. Sure, it'll be gone. Doesn't have a leg anymore.
Still alive, though.
If he doesn't
No,
bleed
but-
out on the floor because of miscare from the
Shall we go to the
amputator.
library then?
Sorry.
Get a move on then. Nods to the guard as the guard goes to open the door and lead you. So you're gonna follow, I imagine,
Mm-hmm.
as you are led down to the library. As you find yourself in a very small area that has maybe about 4 bookshelves about in a circular room, and what looks like a older-looking elven woman tending to it with what looks like auburn hair, looking older as you all enter. And the guard chimes up. He goes, Elizabeth, the mayor said that these individuals had permission to take a look through the library. They're investigating the matters of the missing people. As the elven woman turns to look at you all, she has green eyes. As she goes, I see. Well, welcome. I am Elizabeth. If you need any assistance finding anything, please ask. You're here to investigate the incidents.
It was her.
I'd like to start by Astrid, if you don't mind. I think I'll take point on this. Books are kind of my forte.
Oh, no, of course.
I'd like to start by reading any books that you have on the history of Oakmil.
Certainly, if you'd like.
As far back as they go.
As far back as they go, sure. As she will go and she will fetch 3 books. As one is on the founding of Oakmil, and the other 2 appear to just be historical, archives.
Okay, I am looking for tragedies. Any sort of
Where are
unfortunate
you
event
starting?
at the beginning.
Okay. Roll
I-
me and... I don't want to make it an intelligence check, because you are pretty good at reading.
That he is.
Roll me a charisma check at advantage.
Sure.
You're a reader. Okay. 17. You know, aside from the obvious things that would come during the founding of the town, there were raids on the town early on by, creatures that still remained in the area, demons, bandits, and other sorts back before, Destin was tamed. But the biggest tragedy you find is not as much a tragedy, but there was an execution of a very, very important individual. Obed Oakmil, the founder of Oakmil, was executed, burned at the stake for suspicions of witchcraft, heresy, and conspiracy against the king.
Witches and ghosts? Ooh.
I'm sorry, executed for suspected.
Oh, that's the wrong
Uh,
account I typed on, but that's fine. Either way.
I don't trust that person. I don't know who they are.
Executed for suspected witchcraft.
Witchcraft,
Heresy,
and
and
conspiracy
against the king. And that was
Yeah, how many years ago?
about 450 years ago. Destin has been... Wait, no, sorry. Destin's not that old. Is it?
Isn't it?
It is... That was about 185 years ago. Destin's about 200 years old, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay, I'm not a cleric, so I don't know how this mechanic
300
would
years.
work.
It was 300 years ago that it was founded. It doesn't matter either way. It was 85 years ago. Go on, Astrid.
But if I wanted to pray to my goddess for assistance or a hint or like a nudge in the right direction, how would I do that?
Do you want to try and beseech your god to see if she can give you anything?
Yeah.
Well, you can say what you would like to say a prayer, and then you'll make a religion check. Depending on the quality of the prayer, you may get advantage, you may not.
Okay. There seems to be a lot going on here, and I need help looking through the weeds. I need to know what's relevant and what's not. I want to help these people and stop this from happening again. I want to find the little boy. And then she'll close her eyes.
Roll the religion check. Oh, for some reason it just didn't refresh for me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. 23.
Pause for dramatic effect.
No, that just didn't refresh for me for some reason. 23. Okay. Let me think. What could be done? Astrid, out of the corner of your eye, you see a moth flying about the room as it lands on the side of a small book in the bookshelf.
Yeah, Astrid will immediately go to pull that one out.
As you approach, you see that it is a lunar moth, and as you go and touch the book, it flies off. You pull the book out from the bookshelf, and it's dusty, very dusty, so you have to blow the front of the book to get the dust off. And it reads in Elven, actually. Architectural layout of Oakmil. Architecture
Yeah.
archive of Oakmil is what it would read.
Yeah, I'm opening that bad boy up.
What are you gonna do? Are you just gonna try and read all of it, or are you trying to look for something in particular?
I want to scan the index and see. First of all, I want to see what's not around anymore. Like if there's any
Most things on there are not around anymore because this was for Old Town, but the old Oakmil orphanage is on there.
Then yeah, she'd go to that page.
You go to that page, you see the layout of the orphanage, the design plans for it, how it was planned to be designed and such. And you also see written planned storage beneath orphanage, construction never finished. That's what it says. What it said, additional storage beneath Oakmil. Orphanage. Never finished. And as you look on the next page, there is what looked like a schematic for what it would look like with an additional unit of storage underground beneath. With a set of stairs that would lead underground.
Is the sewer layout included in the book?
No. This is old Oakmil.
Okay. Isaac, Mr. Darrow, do you have a more modern map of the city in any of your books?
I would.
If you're looking for a map, Elizabeth chimes up, I can get you a book for that.
Yeah,
She would
yes,
go
please.
and fetch you a book that would have the layout of the city. Wanna read through? Try to find...
I wanna compare the orphanage on that one to the orphanage that I have in my old book.
Trying to see if there's any intersection between the sewer and the space beneath
That
the
as
orphanage.
well. Yeah.
Roll me a charisma check at advantage. As you look through, examining the layout of the area, this does have renovations for the Oakmil orphanage. And it's just minor things, touching up on the building, improving the layout and such, enforcing some beams and such and such. And then you look at the sewer layout, as it doesn't look like the storage space and the sewer could touch, as the sewer's lower than the storage space. But you do see, using both maps, that there would be a small part of the planned storage space that would be just above the sewer.
Isaac, come look at this. And she says Isaac that time. She doesn't say Mr. Darrow.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Astrid?
There were plans for a storage system to be built underneath the orphanage, but it was never finished. When you compare that to where the sewer system currently exists in the city, there's this very brief area where the two overlap.
So, what you're saying is, it would be possible for something that maybe existed in this unused, unfinished storage space to have access to the sewer, to maybe dump a body per se.
I mean, it's the perfect location. Everybody regards the orphanage as this cursed area never to return to. If
That nobody
I were a
goes to.
child murderer, that's sort of where I would hang out.
I mean, I'm not a child murderer, but that was my thinking as well.
Insight check.
Deception check, Isaac.
Oh.
Astrid, I think you may have figured it out. If anything, this is just, really our best bet. Where to start. We were going to check the orphanage anyway. And now that we know that there's
I still think we should go look where the body was found, like Silas suggested, but I think this fits.
Is there any access into the sewer that, well, somebody larger than a child could get into?
There are access ports across the city. There are entryways. The Elizabeth says as she walks over to see the book you have. As she goes, "May I see this book?" As she points to the old one, the one about old Oakmil.
Yes, here.
As she looks it over and she examines it, as she goes, "Where did you find this? This has been missing."
Just on that shelf over there.
That doesn't make any sense. This book went missing. It was one of the first places that people wanted to check originally for when Sybil unfortunately passed. I guess you just have keener eyes than most of us.
Who else frequents the library?
Well, there's of course, Azanath comes with the doctor every so often, and the doctor comes occasionally on his own, but Azanath is the one who mostly comes for, him. But the two of them occasionally come here. Aside from that, the mayor will come sometimes look at things to see if he could get some information. Sybilla's brother, Markley used to come a long time ago, but he doesn't stop by anymore. Aside from that, just the doctor and Asnath. They're the most frequent visitors.
Isaac, did you want to keep reading, or...?
Yeah, I think he would. Just again scanning for a pattern of tragedies. Obviously, we know the most recent history, but
Sure.
Yeah, anything.
After Obed was executed, there were tragedies that continually happened for a couple years. Different sorts of things. Fires, murders, accidents. Oakmil has a history with it. It seems. Nothing specific that, like, I can give out. Like, nothing that stands out aside from, like, people dying.
Okay. But things pertaining to children only happening, obviously, after the orphanage.
Well, there are children that have died in the history, but nothing like this. Nothing big. Nothing as big as the orphanage and the going missings.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay, I think he's good.
Does anyone else have
For now.
anything they'd like to do in the library?
Are there any books there about ghosts?
No.
Actually, he was going to ask that too.
No, there wouldn't be anything like that.
Casper's Haunted Christmas.
Silas would have informed everyone what he found about Dolores.
You want to explain to him?
Does anyone care to know what kind of ghost this likely is? And the only 2 ways of fixing it?
Very much so.
I'm going to open up the book to that page and kind of slide it out on the table that I assume we're near the front library.
Mm-hmm.
And point specifically in the book where it is and say, Dolores, very angry, no, Saus would know difference between resentment and anger. Very resentful spirits. That wouldn't you know it? Uttered in a horrific way, and because of that, they are trapped the way that they were just before they died, in a spirit form. There's only 2 ways to fix it. Either we destroy the spirit where it was slain, or we bring the one that did the foul act to justice, which what that means is going to differ from depending on the spirits. I'd imagine all of them would consider to death as justice, in my opinion.
Any of you that read would get the information that I had given before about how it's created from Speak with Dead being cast on someone that is unable to actually speak, who was murdered.
Correct me if I'm wrong. What you shared with me, though, was the killer being brought to justice is what's necessary, not the caster of the Speak with Dead.
No, the killer. The caster of the
Presumably-
Speak
Yeah,
with
that's what I
Dead
thought.
is just possibly responsible for the creation of the ghost.
So presumably,
Right.
when they found her body, they tried to cast Speak with Dead.
They said
Foolishly.
the mayor said that the doctor did try that.
That,
Okay.
he said the doctor tried his magic and
Tried
nothing
magic,
came from
but
it.
not
But
specifically
he didn't
that.
specifically say Speak with Dead.
Right.
You'd need to probably ask the doctor or someone more knowledgeable specifically for information like that.
So our next trip would
No, I'm
be
obsessed with the doctor.
Hmm?
I said I'm obsessed with the doctor. I don't want to talk to him.
well. I mean, we could either clear up some suspicions or firm up some from talking to him.
Would Astrid say aloud that she's suspicious of the doctor?
No.
No.
That's mostly an Alex thing.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit out of character about some things. Yeah.
I would like to look into speaking with the doctor and the girl that works with him. She was one of the gifted from Innsmouth, and she's been working with the doctor since he arrived.
So we should go to the doctor then.
I would ask the librarian to point out the doctor's office on the map.
Sure, she can give you directions to the doctor's office.
Well, I'd want her to specifically point it out on the map.
Do you want me to put it on the map for you?
No, I'm asking because I want to see if the sewer system lines up with the.
Well, the
doctor.
sewer system goes beneath all of Newtown, so all of this
Okay.
basically.
That's work.
There's
Yeah.
some way to get to the sewer from pretty much.
Well, if there was like a main channel or something like that, I didn't know if it was just like 4 aqueducts that people shit in or something. I don't know how sewers work.
Clearly.
But the sewer goes beneath the entirety of the town.
Okay.
And a bit outside of town as well. Just a bit. But I can actually put the doctor's office on the map if you'd like, and I can put the Temple of Law on the map as well, because it's not for some reason.
Sure, why not?
Sure, I'll do that.
I do not wish to slow your roll, but the orphanage seems to have all the answers. Why are we going to the doctor's office?
Well, we might learn a bit more about what happened closer to that time.
No, that's bad. I can't do that.
I don't mind the order that we do it, but I think it would be silly not to visit with the doctor. As there could be more than one reason for the happenings going on.
What you mean?
If you truly want to solve the problem, these tragedies that cause all of the wetness and the smell of the sea didn't start until the Innsmouth folk came to this town. So there's reason to believe that one or more of the Innsmouth folk are either underhandedly doing something, or I believe more likely, one of them has been cursed or touched by something foul. If you're truly trying to fix the problem in this town, taking care of the symptom of simply a single killer isn't going to solve the problem.
Doctor's Clinic and the temple are on the map now.
But I am in support of however Astrid would see fit to spend this day in trying to solve the town's problems. I'm simply putting forth my opinion and insight. I don't have vested interest in the outcome.
I think the doctor's office is a good idea, simply to see if we can gain any more information and see if there's any sort of gap or difference in between the way he's telling things and where the mayor is telling things. I do suggest we play our cards close to our chest, though, in case he's involved in some way.
I think that's best as well.
Could we have had that conversation on the way there?
I mean, you're deciding where you're going. That was what the conversation was.
I mean, we could be outside.
You could say, yeah, say you could be outside when you did it, but I don't think it was decided that you were going to the doctor's until that conversation, so I wouldn't say you had that conversation going there. But you could have been outside the temple having that conversation. That's fine.
Okay.
And then you're going to head to the doctor's? Not too far, anyway. Like, it's basically right across the street, so... Okay. As you're going to head toward the doctor's. As you head over, you approach toward this decently sized triangular building that looks refurbished and a bit nicer looking than some of the others. Like it recently got some improvements. And there is a sign on the front of it that bears a universally known medical symbol so that people know that there is a doctor here. And it says Dr. Bergenworth's Clinic. And there is a door that appears to be unlocked, and at the front, are you going to enter?
Yes.
Should we come up with a ploy first? Pretend one of us is sick.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
I think I mean, if he is a doctor, then he's probably going to be able to tell if you're not sick or not.
Well, we could say that we're being plagued, but I don't know. I want to follow Astrid's advice and try to be coy about our intentions.
I think I have an idea. Just follow my lead.
Okay. You're going to enter.
Yes.
So as you enter, you'll find yourself in a reception-like waiting area in a clean-looking room. As you see what looks like a woman sat behind the desk. Let me describe her. An elven woman with long brown hair, very green eyes, and a young-looking face, sitting behind the desk wearing common clothing that look rather tidy and clean, with a necklace of a small green crystal around her neck as well. As you enter and she sees you all, as she goes, "Oh, welcome. I didn't know we were expecting anybody. Hopefully not anything too serious if you're walking in."
I noticed this morning that the doctor was offering sleeping pills to William, and last night I had a bit of a rough night myself, and we're currently unsure if we're going to stay another night or not. But I'm the main driver for my group, and it's very important that I'm as alert as possible when I'm driving for everyone.
Right, of course. Let's come with me. As she will walk carrying what looks like a clipboard and some paper with ink and quill. As she goes to lead you down a door. You gonna follow her?
Who do I want to come with me? I can't bring everybody. That's weird.
I mean, you could.
I'm my emotional support party.
This is my emotional support party. Is it all right if my friends come?
Oh, that should be fine. It just might be a bit tight in the examination room.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just feeling a bit paranoid.
No, please. Can I get your name while we walk, please? And, you said it was sleeping troubles?
Yes, Astrid Concordier.
Astrid Concordier, sleeping troubles, as she jots it down. Right, this way then, I'll take you to the doctor. As she would lead you, down a few doors and into a medical examination room where you find the doctor, in the middle of organizing some equipment. As you step in, he goes, "Ah, Azanath, good, you came. I need to," as he looks over and sees the rest of you and goes, "Oh, we have, assumedly, patients. Apologies. The ones from the tavern this morning." Interesting. As he would set things down, as Azanath would walk over and she would offer up the clipboard and go, "She says he's having some trouble with sleeping and would like to get some sleeping pills. Is that right, Mrs. Concordier?"
Yes, I had the most awful dream last night about a little girl. She was just covered in water, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't reach her.
Doctor gets a visible frown on his face and looks upset at that. as he looks down at the board as he reads it over. Sleeping troubles. This is a terrible dream. Concordier. Looks at you. Interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to think for a minute. My brain went blank. Should I recognize your name?
Do you have any connections to Sylvania?
I know, some colleagues of mine, hail from Sylvania. That could be it then, yes. Apologies, this isn't about, me. It's about you. You want sleeping pills. Are you absolutely sure? I know that these nightmares, they can be awful, but they might not come back. You may be able to get a restful sleep without them, and there is great risk with possibly taking too many.
Well, you see, we're not even quite sure we're going to stay the night or not, but if we do, I'm the main driver for our group, and I'd like to be as alert as possible over the next few days. So it really would only be for the one night.
I can get you a single pill for the night, but anything more than that, as I said, I'm very hesitant in handing them over. They're not a cure-all thing. They just help you sleep, and it's no guarantee they'll stop the nightmares. But, alright, I can give you a single sleeping pill for the night. This visit will only be a silver piece.
Yeah, she'll pay.
Anything else I can help you with? Any other problems?
Is it a common nightmare? You seemed to react when I described what I had seen.
Not a common nightmare, but it reminds me too much of a horrid incident from a couple of years back.
I understand this is fairly forward, but would you like to talk about it?
No, it's been years by this point. I've grown to accept it. As by this point
I'm quite a good listener.
going through some...
Can I roll persuasion?
Going through some, things. Not if you're just gonna say that. It's not quite good enough to possibly get him to talk about it. I have no doubt that you are a good listener, Mrs. Concordier, but it is quite
I've received extensive training in regards to talking things through in regards to mental health and other illnesses.
My thing is that I'm mentally as fine as I can be, and it's a rather grim tale. I don't wish to retell it, especially to people who may not have to spend more than a day in the town. If you ask me, you should get out of here as soon as you can.
Why do you stay then?
Because people need help, and I'm not one to I'm not one to stop helping people simply because things are bad.
We were actually looking to do some help of our own.
Is that the case? As he would take out what looks like a small vial and hand it to you. It has a single sleeping pill in it.
Out of curiosity, Doctor.
Aye.
Heard a number of stories, and many things are not true in stories.
Aye. He begins to look a bit not suspicious, but he's like thinking, it looks like, as he's looking at you.
Out of the misfortunes that have befallen this town without asking anyone to recount the specific accounts. Has there ever been a... I know there's been investigations performed here even. Bud Punty before arriving. Has there ever been an attempt to simply speak with one of the ill-begotten?
As he looks, as it looks like he is scrutinizing all of you very hard. Ashton, can you roll me a deception?
Yes.
I know Silas is the one talking now, but this is about your earlier play. Yeah, as he.
To be fair, she did have bad dream, and she did have trouble sleeping.
Yes,
so
but
it
that's
wasn't
not what you
absolute
came here for. As he sighs and goes, "Did you even really need the sleeping pill?"
Yes, actually, I do suffer from nightmares. Thank you for asking.
Well, I'm glad to see that at least I've done some help in giving you something you need, but it's clear that's not the only reason you came here. I'd appreciate if you're trying to get some answers out of me that you would be a bit more forthright. I'm not one to refuse answering questions if people are going to ask them, but I don't appreciate being tricked.
We're investigating the missing children's.
Well, it's glad to hear that someone's doing it again. I'll
My
forgive
insight check
the deception for now, because you're looking into that, assuming you're being truthful and not trying to deceive me again. Ask your questions. What is it that you need?
Right. Insight check is genuineness of someone looking into it.
Sure. My thing's loaded. He seems to be being sincere, but you catch a hint of concern.
Well, to be frank, Doctor, my curiosity question was truly a sincere curiosity question. To do with the matter. Has there, to your knowledge, been any attempt to speak to any of those that have been lost?
You're speaking of a Speak with Dead. Yes. I had cast a Speak with Dead on the only child that we had found, Sibylla. Unfortunately, it appeared that she was not able to speak. Perhaps the damage was more severe than I knew. Regrettably.
From what... Well, there's no... You wouldn't say there's no harm in trying. That's not Silas. Hey, how long ago did you come to the town?
2 years ago.
It was 10 years ago, the orphanage thing?
Yes.
And people have been disappearing since a year after that, right?
People have been disappearing every years after that. Kids have been disappearing.
All right.
That's been going on for 9 years, the disappearances. It started a year after.
And how long have you been here, Asenath?
As Asenath turns to look, as she goes, "Oh, I came here a good 12 years ago with the mayor."
So you must have been young when you first arrived.
I was, well, yes, I was very young.
I appreciate that this could be a personal question, but did you come with parents?
Is that truly relevant to your investigation?
It could be.
My parents died, on the road to here. I'm not from the... Well, she wouldn't say that because you asked how long she's been here. My parents died on the road heading here.
I have my sympathies.
Well, hopefully it's a bit useful to you, if anything, to hear that.
Did someone take you in, or were you with the other
I
with
lived
the orphans?
at the orphanage.
That means you've been through a good number of horrific things.
She doesn't say anything.
How well did you know the director?
I knew her as every other kid knew her, as a mother. Well, not truly as a mother, she... Oh. I had a mother, but she was like a big sister to me.
Did she suddenly change in her demeanor?
I didn't notice anything like that, and I don't think it'll be relevant to anything you're trying to do anyway. Director's been dead for a long time.
Well, I understand you're a gifted individual. As a number of us here.
Gifted?
It's the word that was implied to me.
What do you mean by gifted?
Perhaps you're gifted with... They weren't specific, to be honest. It could imply you're physically gifted or magically gifted.
I have some magic, yes.
You said you were at the orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the mayor mentioned that only 2 people made it out of there. Do you know the other person?
I don't.
Can you check that insight?
Yeah? You don't believe she's lying? Isaac, roll me an Arcana check.
Oh my god, guys.
Oh, it's a lot of nat ones.
Huh?
What's up, magic?
Okay. You rolled. Nothing. You're not noticing anything. I just was asking. That sucks, dude.
Anybody? Can anybody train an Arcana roll, or
Nope.
just Isaac?
Nope. Just Isaac.
Okay.
What, in what manner did your magical gift find you? Mine came from some extreme studies. I've met someone not long ago, they're not currently traveling with us, that developed some of their magics just inherently. How did yours come to you?
I don't know what you mean by the question. I just sort of came into it eventually.
Oh, that answers the question. Perfectly, in fact. Insight how her not knowing how she came into it?
Sure. Give me one moment.
Hmm?
Is this showing something here? No, it's not. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. I lost something that I shouldn't have. There we go. Hard to read.
Okay.
Very hard to read. Maybe you're just having an off day.
Could be. Ain't South doesn't. That's a very meta thing. The dice.
No, I
number,
know.
so.
I'm kidding. But she's hard to read.
So I assume then, like my friend, just one day were able to cast magic. It wasn't given to you in some way. You know.
I just came upon it someday, like I said. Isaac, I'll give you one more Arcana check.
What do you mean by just came upon it? I apologize to be staying on the same topic line, but it's a very vague term.
I don't know what more you want from me, sir. I just was able to do it one day, and I don't see how this is pertinent to your investigations either. No offense. I don't mind answering the questions, but like I said, I have a little magic. I don't know that much about it.
Maybe it's...
Actually, be frank.
I was gonna say, maybe the better question would be, what does your magic allow you to do?
Just small things.
Like...
I mean, I can move stuff, I can make a hand, I can make things that aren't real. I can make myself jump very far. And I can sense other magic. It's not really much aside from that. The doctor chimes up and goes, "This line of questioning is strange. Do you have a reason to be interrogating..." No, he wouldn't say interrogating. To be so forward with my assistant here.
I personally do, yes. I have some information that is the cause of why I'm asking. I'm not just randomly asking the young girl a series of questions crudely. I show you.
I see. Well, if you're done with that, do you have any more questions for I? And hold that. We're gonna end because we're over. I was trying to get us to a good place to end, but it's not gonna happen. I can tell.
Sorry, bud.
I can tell
That's
it's not
probably my
happening.
fault for rolling poorly.
No.
We smell the sauce.
Well, you could have rolled well and maybe gotten something, but no. We're gonna have to end here. Whether you smell sus or not, I mean, maybe you're just thinking you're smelling something.
There's no crystals.
But
She's not a warlock. There has to be crystal.
nonetheless, we're gonna end session here. I'm gonna say goodbye to stream very quickly. That's the session. I hope everyone had fun. You can say your goodbyes now.
Bye, stream.
As
Bye, stream.
I will be back in just a moment. Give me 1 second to do that. Okay, just me. Hello. As that's gonna be the stream. As I hope that you all who watched along had fun watching. And I hope that you join next week for... Oh, that's weird. Don't know why I all of a sudden started hearing myself. That's weird. But nonetheless, like I was saying, when I was saying it, hope you all had fun. And I will catch you all next week to watch along. Thank you for the follow. Muffin Top. I don't know if you did that. Yeah, I think you did that during the stream, but I thank you nonetheless, and talk to you guys later. Good night.